figured out that there's a lot of satanic things going on in the music industry right now, but it makes sense, y'all, and I want to explain to y'all why it makes sense. Even if you're not a Christian, follow along for this story because it's a really good story. So the root of satanic obviously is Satan, and the part of Satan that no one talks about is the fact that he was an angel praising God at one point, okay? And in Ecclesiastes, it says that the workmanships of his tambourines and pipes was prepared for him the day he was created, meaning he was a worship leader up there, y'all. He was good at what he did too, but he got too big for his britches, and he didn't like being number two to God, which was what he was. The Bible kind of elaborates to in Revelation is that he was number two, but his pride was the fall of him. He was also very convincing enough that he drug a third of the other angels from heaven with him. Now those angels ain't called angels no more, they're called demons. But a lot of us have this image in our head of Satan and the demons rotting in the lake of fire we know as hell, which is just so untrue. I'm going to read this so I don't butcher it, but in Revelation 12:9 it says, "So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels cast with him." Okay, in that verse specifically, it calls him a serpent. And we all know there was a serpent that convinced Adam and Eve to eat the fruit of the tree in the Garden of Eden. So you think he's not here anymore trying to convince us to do the same? But circling back to music, why would he not use the gift that God gave him the day he was created to try to deceive us? Now, for me personally, I realized this because a couple of months ago, I was really sad and I just didn't have a reason to be sad, quite frankly. And I was just like, why am I sad right now? I really shouldn't be. And I drive a lot, so in my car, I'm constantly having music on. And I was just like, this has to have a correlation. I'm trying to relate to the music I'm listening to or something, and it just has no correlation with me. So I switched the music I was listening to, and it was like I could see a visible difference in the decisions I was making, the way I was reacting to things, and just my attitude throughout the day. But to go back to the Bible, it does say in Ecclesiastes that it's better to listen to the rebuke of a wise man than the song of a fool. I don't even think it's just Christians that say that there's power of life and death in our tongues and the words we say, because there's kind of trendiness of speak it into existence and meditate on this. We know that if we focus on the good things will come to us. But in the Bible, in Proverbs, it specifically says that death and life lay in the power of the tongue. In the same verse, it says, those who love it and indulge in it will eat its fruit and bear the consequences of it. Which is kind of scary because the lyrics of some of these songs are actually insane. I'm not trying to say that if you listen to secular music, you're going to hell, but I am going to say that if you do identify as a Christian, which I know that that's a very loose term today, honestly, but if you are a Christ follower, the response to his love is not love. A lot of people think that just because he loves us, we ought to love him, but it's that because he loves us, we want to obey him. Now, it's not about works. If it was about works, we wouldn't need Jesus to come and die for us on the cross. But ultimately, whenever we ask him into our heart and we automatically are given the Holy Spirit, we want to be righteous for him. But I think that the way the devil will deceive a lot of people, and it's really sad because I was right there too, until this last year. I had in my head a lot of knowledge of Jesus, and I thought that I knew him, but I really just knew of him. The difference between knowing someone and knowing of someone. Yeah, I've heard of them. I know a lot about them, but I've never actually met them and I don't have a relationship with them. There's a difference in knowing all about God and knowing God. I'm done preaching, but if y'all want to know more about it, you can actually DM me on Instagram because this is something I could talk about all day.